Hello everybody, welcome to your English class. I am Mr. Alex Flores, teaching this lesson for St. George's School. Today's lesson is about affirmative and negative agreement in English. This class is especially prepared for TOEFL class 5th grade secondary. So let's begin now. To begin, we will start with affirmative agreement. When do we use affirmative agreement? We use this when we want to express that a person does something and again another person does the same thing. For this purpose, we use the words so or to. Let's look at the examples that follow. Here you have in the picture that Oscar says, I like chocolate. And we have Mary that says, I like chocolate. We can have two separate sentences. Like in the first example, we have Oscar likes chocolate and Mary likes chocolate. Perfect. But now we have to combine these two sentences. And we have Oscar likes chocolate and Mary likes chocolate too. Two full sentences joined by the word and. And now let's use so and to. In this example, you have Oscar likes chocolate and Mary does too. In the next example, we have Oscar likes chocolate and so does Mary. These two sentences are what we call affirmative agreement using the words to and so. But there are also some mistakes that we make sometimes. For example, Oscar likes chocolate and Mary too. No auxiliary, no verb. This is wrong. Or we say Oscar likes chocolate and Mary likes too. We use the verb, but not the full sentence. So this sentence is also wrong. Something very important that we must remember about affirmative agreement. It is that when we use affirmative agreement, the word order is different when we use to or when we use so. They have different positions in the sentence. We have, for example, that when we use the word to, it goes at the end of the sentence, always at the end. Look here, you have a sentence, the connector and, the subject, the verb to be, do, does, or did, or a modal auxiliary plus the word to. But it is different when we use the word so. As you can see, the sentence goes first, we connect the sentence with the word and, but then directly we have the word so. Then we put the verb to be, or do, does, or did, and the modal auxiliary. Finally, we have the subject. It is very clear that the word to goes at the end and the word so goes after the word and. Let's look at some other examples. In these other examples, we have Carlos went to the party. We went to the party. Two separate sentences. But then we use affirmative agreement and we say Carlos went to the party and we did too. A sentence in the past will use the auxiliary did. Carlos went to the party and so did we. Again, look at the example. To is at the end, so is after the word and. More examples. Here we have, my friends are a little bit bored. I am a little bit bored. Two separate sentences. Again, now we combine the sentences and we say, my friends are a little bit bored and I am too. Verb to be in the first part, verb to be in the second part. Or the other possibility using the word so. My friends are a little bit bored, and so am I. Verb to be here and verb to be here. Finally, one more example with a modal auxiliary. In this case, the modal will. My sister will travel to Cancun. My cousin will travel to Cancun. Two separate sentences. Now we put these sentences together and we say, my sister will travel to Cancun and my cousin will too. Will in the first part and will in the second part. Or we can use the word so and we say, my sister will travel to Cancun and so will my cousin. This is the end of the first part, that is affirmative agreement. Now let's take a look at negative agreement. Negative agreement uses the word either and neither. They work like to or so, but this time in negative sentences. Let's look at this example. Karen says, I can't cook, negative. And Lucy says, I can't cook. We can put these two sentences separate, like this first example. Karen can't cook, Lucy can't cook. We can join the two sentences with the word and. Karen can't cook and Lucy can't cook either. Now we use a negative agreement with the word either. Karen can cook and Lucy can't either. Or Karen can cook and neither can Lucy. Again, there are mistakes that we frequently make. We cannot say Karen can't cook and Lucy neither, or Karen can cook and Lucy either. It is important that you see how the position of either and neither change, and also the auxiliary. But let's look at the grammar part, the structure of negative agreement. In negative agreement, not only the word order is different when we use any of these two words, also the form of the auxiliary is different. Look at this example. Look at the structure for negative agreement using the word either. We have a negative sentence, the word and to connect the sentence, and here we have the subject. Then a negative form of the verb to be, or don't, doesn't, or didn't, or a negative modal auxiliary. Then at the end of the sentence, we put the word either. It is different when we use the word neither. When we use the word neither, we have the negative sentence, the word and to connect the two sentences, and then we place the word neither. But pay attention to the verb. The verb is affirmative, not negative. Verb to be, or do, does, did, or the modal auxiliary, plus the subject. Either is at the end with a negative word, neither is after the word and with an affirmative modal or auxiliary verb. Now let's look at some examples to understand this grammar better. Here we have, Mike doesn't have money, I don't have money. Two separate negative sentences. And we have, Mike doesn't have money and I don't either, using the word either with a negative auxiliary. Mike doesn't have money and neither do I. Neither is after the word and the auxiliary is affirmative. Another example, this time using the verb to be in the past. Cecilia wasn't hungry, her friends weren't hungry. to negative sentences using the verb to be. Now we can use negative agreement and we say Cecilia wasn't hungry and her friends weren't either. Verb to be and verb to be. The word is either is at the end and is using the negative verb. Different when we use neither. Cecilia wasn't hungry, neither were her friends. The word neither is here and the modal is affirmative. Finally, we have an example using the auxiliary for the past, didn't. Marco didn't break the window, Al didn't break the window. Marco didn't break the window and Al didn't either. Either is at the end, the auxiliary is negative. Or using the word neither, we have Marco didn't break the window and neither did Al. Neither positive auxiliary. This is the way we use affirmative and negative agreement. For additional practice, you will be able to see your Google Classroom. And if you have any other questions, remember, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. This was Mr. Alex Flores for St. George School, and I'll wait for you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.